Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Now, you are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Hocevar in the wall, turned around in front of the field. Around goes Jones. Ricky Stenhouse to the front. Elliott around the outside.
Daytona 500
Still
this
green.
weekend.
Reddick on the bottom. Reddick, Elliott.
The help's on the outside. Here comes Chase Elliott. Can it be?
Yes, Chase Elliott.
Michael Jordan's team won, by the way.
Zane Smith with him. On the bottom.
First championship he had since the Bulls.
They come up single file. Zane Smith's going to have one shot at Chase Elliott.
Tyler
NASCAR
Reddick.
champion, most popular driver, trying for the win. And Reddick to the top side. He's got help. Riley Herbst, his teammate. Reddick drops to the bottom. Alongside Elliott. In the wall goes Herbst. And Tyler Reddick comes to the line. Wow. A shower of sparks behind him.
Now, I'm not a big NASCAR guy just because, I don't have a lot of time to watch it. And, I love it. I love it. But I did watch a little bit of yesterday just because I have got spring fever like you wouldn't believe, like never before in my life. And this was like before, baseball's coming up. I needed something that kind of reminded me that the seasons are changing. So I watched the Daytona 500. They really ought to just make it the Daytona 100 because yesterday the whole race goes on for hours and hours and hours, 500 miles, and it's not decided till that last lap when a whole bunch of cars piled up. So you kind of wasted like the first 499 miles of the race. To get to the finish of the race. Oh, man. But it was kind of fun to watch. I can see why people get so into it and why also there will never be an EV in a Daytona 500 race. Can you imagine a Daytona 500 where it was electric cars? You've got to have the cars roaring by you. And by the way, if you've never been to a NASCAR race or like I've been in the Indy 500, it's like having a bunch of F-16s fly by you. The cage surrounding the field, it rattles, it rings like a bell when the cars go by. It's an amazing thing. How are you? How'd you do this week? Did you enjoy the weekend? I enjoyed the weekend. I went out this weekend and I went to this place called King Street here in Northern Virginia, and people were out and people get a little crazy when you haven't been outside in a while. And they've got these concrete lounge chairs down by the Potomac. And normally in the summer, people hang out there and they look out of the Potomac and they sun themselves. But people were in there wearing parkas, laying on the lounge chairs. It was just amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So, but spring is coming. I'm looking forward to spring. I'm excited about it. I've got a bunch of stuff on the show today, including the Munich conference, the security conference over there. Democrats went over to do nothing but badmouth America. Democrat, Gavin Newsom, like, why don't you stay at home and fix your broken frickin' state that is so bankrupt? $17 trillion in debt. That's $17 billion in debt is what California is, and billions and billions of dollars worth of fraud, and of course a railroad to nowhere. It's going to be $130 billion. They've shortened the damn thing from like 300 miles to 100 miles, and then of course not a damn house has been built in the Palisades, maybe a dozen, 12,000 of them burned down. But Gavin Newsom feels the need to go over and call our police Nazis in Munich. So there is that. And then, of course, I'm reading this weekend, the midterms coming up here, and the Democrats are doing everything they can to make sure they can keep people on the rolls who don't belong there and illegals on the rolls that don't belong there and all that. And it's happening. Don't insult my intelligence to say there's no voter fraud. Shut up. I got no time for your nonsense. Just have no time for your nonsense. But I'm seeing that there's a new generic ballot, and the Democrats are 8 points up. The Democrats are up 8 points in the midterms, and that kind of flies in the face of all of this.
So we're talking about the Democratic base, right? But what about all Americans, right? How about all voters? Voters who say the Democrats are now too liberal. Look at this percentage. It was 42% in 96, 48% in 2013. Now 58% in 2025 of all voters say that the Democratic Party is too liberal. The Democrats are moving to the left. The far left is gaining power, and there could be some electoral repercussions because what we see right now is voters.
Yeah, but according to the generic ballots, the Democrats are pulling out. They got 7 points ahead there, and they're saying it's because the affordability, even though affordability is no longer really an issue because wages are up, prices are down. People have already had a net gain of $2,500, and then we're moving into tax season where people are getting massive refunds because Donald Trump is getting rid of tax on overtime, tax on tips. I had 2 Uber rides this weekend. Sometimes I avoid the traffic into downtown D.C. by taking an Uber, and these guys were jacked. They were jacked about no tax on tips. The one Uber driver, he's like, dude, I do overtime too. And he said, I'm going to get a bunch of money back. And I was like, all right. By the way, both of these guys, one of them from Afghanistan, the other one from I think it was Honduras, both of them listen to the show. Both of them watch me on social media. I thought that was kind of cool. And then there's this. Again, the Democrats are ahead by 7 on a generic ballot.
Take a look at how Democrats who disapprove of congressional Democratic leaders. Hello, we're talking about 57% in January of 2026, the second highest disapproval rate for Democratic leaders from their own party on record. It's only beat by what we saw earlier on in this Congress when it was 61%. Wow. There's basically been no improvement. Democrats hate their own congressional leaders. These numbers are awful.
No, but they want more of it. Democrats want more of it. They're ahead by 7, for God's sake. But what about MAGA? I mean, MAGA certainly has weakened a lot, right? Nobody's supporting Donald Trump.
So how much power, and we're talking about influence here, do they have on the GOP, especially over the long run?
Yeah, over the long run. That's what I think is so important here. And it's not just about Donald Trump. It's about the Make America movement. Yeah. Again, that's what we're talking about. Make America Great Again movement. And it is as powerful as it has ever been. Because I want you to take a look here. GOP who view MAGA favorably. 2 years ago when Donald Trump was running for term number 2, it was 74%. Today, look at this. It's 78% of Republicans who view the Make America Great Again movement.
Wow, and there are a lot of people leaving the Democrat Party, particularly people of color. People of color leaving the Democrat Party. And then there's also this. The Democrat Party is for not deporting illegals. And yet Americans say, no, we want them out of here.
Deporting all immigrants who are here illegally. 55% of the New York Times. Marquette, 64%. CBS News, 57%. Whoa. ABC News with a slightly different question, 56%.
Well, why are the Democrats now shutting down the government to keep us from deporting illegals?
So what you're seeing essentially here is...
Like they almost want to keep them here or something. Maybe give them a bunch of benefits. Get them to vote and stuff.
Very clear.
Maybe use them in the census to fluff their numbers because so many people are leaving Democrat states.
Clear indication that a majority of Americans, in fact, when they're asked this blunt question, which I believe gets at the underlying feelings, do in fact want to deport all immigrants who are here illegally. There's no arguing with these different numbers because they're all essentially the same across 4 different polls.
Well, that is really weird because the Democrat Party, they say that it's Jim Crow 2.0 for voting, and you know ICE is horrible and deportations are terrible and everything and all of that. And then there's also this other thing about voter ID. Voter ID, the Democrat Party says it is sexist and racist to get a voter ID, and they say it's your right to vote. Well, here's the problem. It's only your right to vote if you're a U.S. citizen. And how do you prove your citizenship? Documentation. Yeah, that's ID. See, there's no DNA test that says, oh, yeah, you're American. You got it. You got that +1 D147 gene there, so you are officially American. No. You got to provide documentation to prove you're a citizen to exercise your right to vote.
Take a look here. Favor photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it.
What?
82% of Latino. 76% of black Americans.
It's because they're racist.
Favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country.
No.
Photo ID to vote is not.
No, because all of these crises that the Democrat Party have are completely made up of nonsense. All of these idiot Karens who want to leave the country are leaving because of nonsense. Rosie O'Donnell left the country for no good reason. She upset her entire family, moved her whatever child, maybe him, her, they, them, multiple personality, multiple sexes, children over to Ireland. They're like, Mom, what the hell? Her life wouldn't have changed with Donald Trump as the president, not one little bit. But that's your Democrat Party. They're just out of their friggin' minds. That's basically it. So we've got a lot of stuff on the show. I want to hit on the Munich conference, what idiots the Democrats look like. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I think she might take the word salad title from Kamala Harris as, and I told you a long time ago, dumb as a box of rocks without the rocks. She did not disappoint this weekend. Marco Rubio got a standing ovation, a brilliant, brilliant speech. We got special guests on the show today. We got, who do we got today? Hold on a second. I got to hear. Right here. Oh, yes, we got the great Liz Collin on the show today. Blaine Holt on the show today. It may be President's Day, but we are working, even if you aren't, and I promise you, you're going to be entertained and informed. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain over time. It just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
With the actions he's taken, Jacob Wright is making Minneapolis a clown town. Ice fries are posing while Tim Walz is dozing. City has become a clown town. Ilhan Omar's hiding fraud. Keith Ellison's obstructing a war on law enforcement. Jacob Price conducting. Temp on Tim is so incompetent. Most Minnesotans want no more of him. It's a clown town, Minneapolis, clown town. It's far from fabulous, clown town. Once great cities become clown town, clown town.
He's run Minnesota in the ground. Massive fraud Timmy never found. Billions lost. Oh, what a cost. Goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble. He's obstructing ICE every day. He wants illegals to get their way. Out of control. He has no soul. Goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble. Tim is thinking they might impeach him. Should be resigning. For Minnesota, he has done no good. It's sad, so sad. As governor, he's been bad, 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 bad. Many calls for Tim Walz to step down. Minnesota can't afford this clown. Throw him in jail, deny him bail. Goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble. His impeachment is an absolute must. Tim has lost the people's trust. He's gotta go, 'cause we all know, goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble.
MHIC 37105.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
No real agenda other than to disrupt President Trump's agenda, and that's America's agenda. Who in the world would want to defund ICE, defund FEMA, defund the TSA? Why would you do that? All you want to do is cause pain in this country, and that's clearly what the Democrats are going to try to do. They did this the last time, and their numbers went down. I mean, I know they're all good little soldiers, but that guy, when Senator Fetterman's the only one out there making any sense, I think you need to readjust your polling data.
Yeah, I think so, too. That is Tim Burchett talking about the Democrat Party. The reason they're shutting the government down this time is not because defunding Obamacare, which has proven to be a massive scam. Billions and billions of dollars to the insurance companies. Their stock's gone up 2,000% while you and I suffered. They had, like 13 million people or something on the Obamacare that didn't even know they had policies or are dead or whatever. But basically we were paying for policies that don't exist. It was a complete scam. But the Democrat Party, they want to shut down the government again because this is the next thing. This is the next thing. Anti-ICE, all of this. This is the next thing. And then last week it was, the Epstein files. And then this weekend, Pam Bondi released all of them. Pam Bondi released everything. And a lot of Congress people are saying, you don't want to, it'll haunt you forever if you read this stuff. But they did it. And now the Democrats are going full on, whatever, conspiracy. The party is nuts. Your Democrat Party is off its rocker, to be quite honest. Off its rocker. And all they do is existing to be contrarian to Donald Trump. That's the party. And you think you're going to win the midterms. Okay. Now, we do not take anything for granted here because the Democrat Party has been at war with us for about 10 years. They have tried to put our president in jail. They tried to take his fortune. They tried to murder him a couple times. They raided Mar-a-Lago. They impeached him a couple times. Are you noticing a pattern here? You noticing a pattern? We know that the federal government now, according to John Solomon, the FBI had opened investigations on 1,200 individuals. These are people who are associated with Donald Trump, MAGA and whatnot, used the DOJ to go after it. So this is a war.
I have free speech, but if I decide to report on Joe Biden and Ukraine, I might be assessed by the FBI to be a threat, and they could maybe investigate me. Crazy. That is the theory of what assessments were, and they exploded. 1,200 politicians, members of the clergy, and members
This is why we need to take the gloves off in this midterms. We need to take the bloody gloves off and put the Democrat Party out of the nation's misery.
The media and others that fall into that sensitive category, lawyers would be the fourth category, were looked at between 2018 and 2024. That's the Chris Wray era, the height of the Chris Wray era.
Yeah.
They were assessed.
This is Soviet, by the way. Show me the man, I'll show you the crime. That's what they were doing. They were fishing for anything the federal government could go after people and ruin their lives.
Almost none of them ever advanced to a criminal investigation. Yeah. What does that mean? The FBI was opening up investigations on people who were completely innocent. And they may have been looking at those people not to find crimes, but to find out what sort of things they were working on so that they could defend against scrutiny of the FBI or scrutiny of Joe Biden or Hunter Biden or the Biden administration or Democrats.
Like the Hunter Biden laptop that was real and Russia collusion that wasn't.
It is as a big a perversion of the FBI as what J. Edgar Hoover gave us in the back end of his career at the FBI. Now, it stopped in 2025. There are new rules in place in Cashman.
There you go. But that's your Democrat Party, man. They are an evil brood. I'll just say that. Even old Chris Cuomo today was talking about how if you're going to keep bedding down with the insanity of the left and the AOC and all that, it's not going to end well for the Democrat Party. That's why I say they're dying like movie vampires. Twisting and spinning and diving into hell. So there is that. And they're also causing a lot of pain in the meantime. I came up with a little song this weekend, And this is a lot of times when you write satire, the only really good satire has to contain truth. You cannot make stuff up. Satire, when you use political satire particularly, it has to contain proof. It has to contain facts. And this song I came up with about what the Democrat Party has done to America by dividing us, calling half of us Nazis and all of this. And it has some real results because of it. So I put this together with the assistance of Jim Gossett. It's slightly autobiographical for me and you. If you have Democrats in your life and they basically written you off because you support Trump.
To all the friends I had before, I voted Trump, we're friends no more.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm okay without you.
Our movement's kicking butt.
You guys are miserable over there.
You Democrats are nuts.
Yeah.
My lefty friends don't call no more.
Elon Musk was never a Nazi, and you know it.
To all the rallies that I lost.
When you say Trump is a Nazi, you're saying I am too.
I have to say it's worth the cost.
Bye.
You make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Think girls can become boys.
That's true. You did that.
To all the rallies that I lost.
I'll miss you at the reunion this year.
My wife divorced me last November.
What? How'd that get in there?
My class reunion was a mess. My sister won't come for a visit.
Actually, I love my sister. She's awesome. She's MAGA.
Life without them is the best. Thanksgiving dinner won't be missed.
That's a long way off. After the midterms.
You mention Trump, someone gets pissed. I'd rather
the thing is, again, this is why I say we need to overwhelm the left with joy and patriotism, because they are such a dour lot, such an unhappy lot. Everything's miserable. Everything is awful. And it isn't that way. We're going into our 250th year. Don't ever forget that. We're in our 250th year of the birth of our nation, and some amazing stuff is happening. Donald Trump is projecting strength on the world stage, and people like, the Democrats. AOC was over at the Munich conference. I got to tell you, and this is just fantastic. She goes over to the Munich conference some reason. She's going to run for president, right? And here she is delivering a word salad supreme, academic faculty lounge gobbledygook.
I think what we identify is that in a rules-based order, hypocrisy is vulnerability. And so I think what we are seeking is a return to a rules-based order that eliminates the hypocrisies around when too often in the West we look the other way for inconvenient populations to act out these paradoxes.
Oh my God! She just said nothing. She just said nothing. Meanwhile, Marco Rubio.
Trump's delegation in Munich, Secretary of State Marco Rubio received a standing ovation for giving what some called a reassuring message to European allies.
We do not want our allies to be weak, because that makes us weaker. For we in America have no interest in being...
Well, what about the paradigm and the whatever?
Polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline.
Not all Democrats attending the security conference agreed.
I know that the Democratic Party is here for our allies.
No.
We are
not for America.
Shocked at the president's destruction of our relationship with our European allies.
Oh, no, not at all. He's just giving them a little fur. After decades of abuse, after we saved him a couple times last century, he's projecting strength, you see. And he projected strength recently on Greenland, by the way. And they were giving him also grief about Greenland. And Donald Trump said, no, we're going to work with Greenland. We're going to chase China and Russia out of the area. And then it turns out Denmark wants to work with it. It's about projecting strength, you faculty lounge moron. We got more on this on the other side of the break. This is a Monday, President's Day edition of The Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Shopify. For years I have had a swag line of T-shirts with catchy phrases and whatnot, and it's just been lying there. Well, I've decided to go with Shopify and actually make money with my own business. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates you can customize to match your brand instead of just having a lousy website that nobody notices like I have been doing for years. Set up fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines, create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Newsmax. Go to shopify.com/Newsmax. Make building a successful business your 2026 New Year's resolution.
They're all Democrats, we call them Karen. They have a whiny voice, they are all pro-choice and mostly barren. They're cat ladies, whoa, 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 they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who have clearly lost their minds. These Karens don't like ice. They often pay a price, mistakes they're making. Karenism is their curse. Could go to jail or worse for their law breaking. They're cat ladies. Don't have a child, they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who are out of their minds.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain over time. It just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. You know, hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
Somalis are all on welfare, and the Dems just seem to not care. Ilhan Omar, she needs to go. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. Many are anti-Semitic. Their statements have been pathetic. They're a threat to all you know. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. They are always expressing hate of America. Why are they here? Must deport before it's too late. Talk about holiday cheer. Our language, they will not learn it. Own money, refuse to earn it. They are gaming the system so. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO.
California has been a leader in climate policy going back to Ronald Reagan.
They are looking to withdraw the United States from the entire world so that we can turn into an age of authoritarianisms.
The unpredictability, the instability, the putting our allies at arm's length has come with a big cost. We're in worse shape than we were 14 months ago.
Name one other country at the Munich conference or the Davos that had its governors and politicians come over and badmouth their country. This is your Democrat Party. They beyond suck. They super suck is what I would say. They super suck. And then they sent the dumbest ones ever. AOC went over there. She, my God, is just so dumb. Here she is. This is kind of interesting. She just destroyed the concept of white supremacy. She just destroyed the concept of white privilege. Okay, I'm seriously. Listen.
There's a very big difference between whiteness and national, like your actual culture, right?
All right. Okay.
Whiteness is an imaginary thing. Being German is real.
Well, then there's no such thing as white supremacy anymore.
Being Italian is real.
Yeah.
Being English. These are rich cultural heritages that are based on values, and they are so much a part of what make our cultures and our societies what they.
Okay. So, wow, this is a lot to swallow here. So I just did a DNA test a few years ago and found out that I am English, Irish, and German. I'm not a white guy. Oh, my God. I had no idea. I'm not white. I am not white. Oh, my God. Look at all the privileges I've had my entire life. It's been based on a lie. She's so unfreaking believably stupid. Here's Marco Rubio talking about our connection to Europe. And this is one of the best things I've heard. This was actually telling Europe, look what happens when you come from Europe and you're given, the freedom to express yourself, have your own religion, and then be able to have a gun.
Our story began with an Italian explorer.
Yeah.
Whose adventure into the great unknown to discover a new world.
And he wasn't even white, he was Italian.
Brought Christianity to the Americas. And became the legend that defined the imagination of our pioneer nation.
Yeah. Okay, what else?
Our first colonies were built by English settlers.
Whoa.
To whom we owe not just the language we speak.
Nice.
But the whole of our political
and they're not white, they're English.
Legal system. Our frontiers were shaped by Scots-Irish.
What? They're not even white.
They gave us Davy Crockett and Mark Twain.
Wow.
And Teddy Roosevelt and Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Our great Midwestern heartland was built by German farmers and craftsmen.
Again, not white.
Who transformed empty plains into a global agricultural powerhouse.
My relatives did that.
And by the way,
they did that.
Dramatically upgraded the quality of.
We didn't even own any slaves.
American beer. Our expansion into the interior followed the footsteps of French fur traders and explorers whose names, by the way, still adorn the street signs and town names all across the Mississippi Valley.
Yeah, like Versailles instead of Versailles, Missouri.
The entire romance of the cowboy archetype that became synonymous with the American West.
Yeah.
These were born in Spain.
What?
And our largest and most iconic city was named New Amsterdam. Before it was named New York.
See what he did there is pretty amazing. But of course, AOC decided to call him out for saying that cowboys came from Spain.
You are starting to see the ascent of the right, even in places like Munich. Marco Rubio's speech was a pure appeal to Western culture.
Yeah, because it's superior, you moron.
My favorite part was when he said that American cowboys came from Spain.
Yeah, okay. We're laughing. How dare he say? Well, I'm going to prove her wrong here.
And I believe the Mexicans and descendants of African enslaved peoples would like to have.
No, you're absolutely wrong. You see, Spain introduced horses here. Okay, Spain introduced horses down in Central South America. They had big cities with no indoor plumbing and pyramids where they practiced lots and lots of human sacrifice. So not really close to cowboys. Oh my God! It's so glorious. And, you'd think, oh, maybe the rest of the world would go, wow, she's really stupid. But, no, apparently not. Apparently not. I got a bite here. I want to share this. This is AOC. Let me do this first. I'll do this first. Here is AOC being really stupid and comparing her to someone who was really stupid, kind of the template for stupid for many years.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that...
Okay, I'm just going to tell you. You're going to lose an IQ point or two. I know if you're regular listeners to the show, you've got some to spare. If you are a Democrat or from Somalia, it's going to cost you dearly. But you can recover if you continue to listen to the show.
This is such a, I think that this is a, this is, of course, a very long-standing...
1 + 1 = 2.
Policy of the United States. And I think what we are
2 + 2 = 12.
Hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point.
4 + 4 = giraffe.
And we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research,
shoe, hat, airplane,
and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation and for that question to even arise.
Okay, I need a break. What just happened? Is this thing on? Hello?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps.
I'm actually gaining IQ points from when AOC talked.
And I believe that our education, such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere.
And cowboys came from Mexico and African slave trade.
Such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S.
White people is a construct, and Italians
should help the U.S. or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries, so we will be able to build up our future.
I would have rather had her representing the United States, to be quite honest. Mark in Baltimore wants to talk. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the Rob Carson Show. What's on your mind?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. First, I want to wish you and all your listeners a happy President's Day holiday today.
Yes,
let me just tell you what the planning, what the D Party is, as far as having Homeland Security on a shutdown.
Yeah.
Two-pronged approach. Number one, they want to cause distraction with those that are working like TSA agents who are concerned about are they going to be getting a paycheck soon or when? And why the illegal aliens and all the other criminals are going to be trying to slip through TSA lines, at the airport. Sure. And with the border patrols and everybody who's working without pay at this point, they got to be really distracted. Yes, there is special funds for these groups because it's already been pre-set up. But unfortunately, that's the real plan because they need votes. Yeah. And illegal aliens and criminals who are able to somehow illegally register to vote or whatever through their friends in the voting office, wherever, will make every effort to get through there because what it is the main idea is power. And they don't believe in what we call the man upstairs named Hashem.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So they don't mind doing anything and everything to get their way.
Absolutely.
That's the reason why. Because they're going to distract while the real Americans are working hard without with their paychecks being held, trying to protect us and all that. So what do you think about that?
I think you're right, Mark, and it's about creating chaos. They did it for 4 years. They opened our southern border. They disregarded, fentanyl deaths and children being trafficked and women being raped and murdered by illegals. They don't give a crap. The Democrat Party doesn't give a crap about any of us, including you Democrats. And this is about creating chaos and keeping them perpetually in power and enriching their friends. Did you get rich the last 4 years when Joe Biden was in office? No, you didn't. You suffered. But a whole lot of Democrats and their cronies got rich beyond belief as they looted our treasury. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. CDM.
And so this is why we Americans may sometimes come off as a little direct and urgent in our counsel.
Yep.
This is why President Trump demands seriousness and reciprocity from our friends here in Europe.
Yep.
The reason why, my friends, is because we care deeply. We care deeply about your future and ours. And if at times
we didn't, we wouldn't have saved your butts twice last century.
we disagree, our disagreements come from our profound sense of concern about a Europe with which we are connected. Not just economically.
Yeah, we see what you guys have done to yourselves, particularly France and Great Britain. What a predicament you're in now.
Not just militarily. We are connected spiritually, and we are connected culturally.
Wow, that's God and everything.
We want Europe to be strong. We believe that Europe must survive.
Yeah.
Because the two great wars of the last century serve for us as history's constant reminder that ultimately our destiny is and will always be intertwined with yours.
There you go. That's Marco Rubio delivering a hell of a speech. Hell of a speech over there at the Munich Security Conference. Meanwhile, here's AOC. You know, they got these snotty elites over there. And this one's like, say, when you're the president, are you going to tax wealth?
So when you run for president...
Everybody's just so smug. They're like the cheering section from not the Crying Game. The Crying, that's a movie from the early 90s. But from the Hunger Games.
Are you going to impose a wealth tax or a billionaire's tax?
I don't think that I don't think that anyone, and that we don't have to wait for any one president to impose a wealth tax. I think that it needs to be done expeditiously.
And interestingly, when I wrote about wealth tax recently, and of course the big argument...
Yeah, you know what wealth tax does? It kills everything. This is why Gavin Newsom abandoned the billionaire's tax in California. You global elite morons. Here is Hugh Hewitt this weekend. He was on Fox. I enjoy Hugh Hewitt a great deal. I met him a couple times. He's a pretty cool guy. Very serious. He doesn't, when you joke with him, he doesn't laugh. He doesn't go, oh my God, that's funny. He just kind of looks at you and tilts his head, kind of like a dog hearing the word squirrel outside and whatever. Here he is talking about the coastal elites over there in Munich.
Coastal elites in America, in the blue states, have their counterpart at the Munich Security Conference. That's not the Europe that is voting on excluding more migrants. Switzerland is going to vote on a referendum. It's not our allies in Japan, which is in the middle of a crisis with China, by the way. Takaishi has got a Chinese fishing boat. They're not going where there's problems. They're not demonstrating any kind of competence, and they're simply incapable of communicating American strength. If you contrast what they did yesterday with President Trump down at Fort Bragg, which was a display of strength intended for the Iranians to see that we can go anywhere and do anything with the American military, and that the troops love our commander-in-chief as opposed to the Iranian people hate their leaders. That contrasts so sharply with that display in Munich yesterday. I don't think they did themselves any help, Charlie.
Well, they look like complete morons. Here's Gavin Newsom and this is despite the fact that his state is just in desperate straits. 6 years in a row, the most people in the entire country leaving the state to get the hell out. $17 billion in debt. hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud, 12,000 homes destroyed in the Palisades fire because they are incompetent morons. 12 have been rebuilt. $130 billion for a railroad, a high-speed railroad, where no track has been laid at all. I can go on. And here he is comparing people in uniform in the United States to Nazis in Munich.
But I want to remember all those images of masked men, the secret police, something familiar in Germany. Those first images came out of my state, the second largest city in the United States of America. We saw 4,000 National Guard federalized. First time, we'd never seen anything like this. And 700 active duty Marines sent not over.
He's calling our military this.
Overseas, but to the second largest city in the United States of America.
Yeah, to keep it from burning down again, which it does about every 10 years.
Militarizing the streets of my city. Masked men showing up, unaccountable, no IDs.
God, I tell you what. Wow. Contrast with the great Marco Rubio, projecting America's strength because we're the greatest engine of individual and economic freedom in the history of mankind. We changed the world.
We opened our doors to an unprecedented wave of mass migration that threatens the cohesion of our societies, the continuity of our culture, and the future of our people.
Yeah, Joe Biden
We
did
made
that.
these mistakes together. And now, together, we owe it to our people to face those facts and to move forward, to rebuild.
Yeah, even old Hillary Clinton was over there. Dear God, I don't know why the hell she was over there. Anyway, she said that our open border went too far.
So how do we make the case in a positive way, not a bullying and very shameful way? So this debate...
No, see, we live in a really tough world, all right? And there are a lot of evil people out there. And sometimes you got to play tough, okay? You can't be a boy who decides to become a girl and play for the girls' team in this world.
...that's going on is driven by an effort to control people, to control who we are.
Oh, my God. What did you do the last 4 years when Joe Biden was the president?
How we look, who we love.
Regulation.
And I think we need to call it...
Nobody cares who you love.
...for what it is. There is a legitimate reason to have a debate about things like migration. It went too far. It's been disruptive and destabilizing, and it needs to be fixed in a humane...
Yeah, but you see, you did it. The left did it. You were well on the way to destroying our country, and it would have been destroyed had Kamala Harris been able to steal the election. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hello. Ooh, people are busy today. Hi, Facebook. Look, I drove over the road. 25 years, these states. I've seen all of them, blah, blah, blah. Hello, Chris Schwab. I just lost that text. Where is it? All of them. Oh, my God. Okay, sorry. Rudy Rail. The left is brain dead. You're new. Thanks. Welcome to the show. Tony Dickerson. I haven't seen you on there. Brian Duffy. I haven't seen you in a while, but it's good to have you back. Thanks for joining us over here on the Rumbly Roo. The Rumbly Roo. A Naughty Mouse Warrior is new. Welcome to the show. Let's see who else is over. Valentina, proud to be a Jew. All you guys, good to see you. But a Naughty Mouse Warrior is brand new, so welcome to the show. Please come inside, in the words of the band, Saliva. Welcome to the show. McBiscuit, hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us. America Marcy, Mixie Hastings, Alan Bell is new over on YouTube. Roxy Wagner is new over on YouTube. Good to have you joining us today. Hope you're enjoying the show. I'm going to try, and I'm having some trouble scrolling now all of a sudden. Mickey Hastings, test 2. The taxpayers probably paid for AOC's trip. Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. What, they really embarrassed themselves over there, didn't they? They made themselves look like complete morons. All right. Well, I'm going to move on here. I got to do this next here. I've got a bunch of stuff here. How long is this one? Hold on. It's a little personal. Here we go. I got to talk. Now. Let's see what the price of gold is right now. Price of gold! All righty, here we go. Got to talk again. Okay.
We increasingly outsourced our sovereignty to international institutions while many nations invested in massive welfare states at the cost of maintaining the ability to defend themselves.
Yeah.
This, even as other countries have invested in the most rapid military buildup in all of human history.
Yeah, like China.
And have not hesitated to use hard power
Yep.
to pursue their own interests.
Yep.
To appease a climate cult, we have imposed energy policies on ourselves that are impoverishing our people, even as our competitors exploit oil and coal and natural gas.
Yeah, you know how many windmills are going up in China? Zero. Zero. They're building coal plants because you got played, you morons. Your leaf blower doesn't make any difference at all in the climate, and honestly, it's ridiculous to think otherwise. Gold is down to $49.91. It's back down $5,000. It's back down under $5,000. What does this mean to you? Well, it means it's an opportunity for you to buy. It was $5,600 a couple weeks ago. It dropped. It raised. It went up $500 in one day. Remember that day? I do. I was watching it, and then the next day it went shoo, boom, went down to 46. You know why? Because people sold. International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency, never-ending list of reasons. Gold has risen 700% in the last 20 years. In the last year and a half, gone from $2,600 all the way back to up to $5,600. Birch Gold can help you convert an IRA, existing IRA or 401k into gold. I'm going to tell you right now, I had a 401k that was doing nothing. Doing nothing. I had this thing for 6 years. Nothing. I mean, I won't tell you the amount, but it stayed that way forever. So I called Birch Gold. I said, let's just transfer this and let's buy gold while it's low. And I did. And it was easy. And if you want to know more, all you got to do is text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898. You're going to get some information. You are not going to be obliged to buy anything. You're just going to get information. And I tell you, you won't regret it. Gold is no longer the Snuggie of investments. It is a powerful investment. It is a powerful part of your portfolio. And do it with a company I trust, you should trust. Birch Gold. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. One more soundbite from the great Marco Rubio.
We want allies who can defend themselves so that no adversary will ever be tempted to test our collective strength.
Yeah.
This is why we do not want our allies to be shackled by guilt and shame. We want allies who are proud of their culture and of their heritage, who understand that we are heirs to the same great and noble civilization, and who together with us are willing and able to defend it.
Yeah, there you go. Basically tearing down everything the globalists have been preaching that has made the world a much less safe and prosperous world. Let's put it that way. Let's take a break and come back. Coming up next hour, the great Liz Collin from Minneapolis. This is The Rob Carson Show. The Uranium One deal. She got a lot of money after she arranged a deal with Uranium One to take 25% of our uranium in the United States, and she ended up hundreds of millions of dollars. She and her husband into their charity that does nothing for charity. So there is that, and she's over there for some reason, and she decided, I guess she was going to host a seminar on women. So fundamental rights for women is what the name of the panel was, and the first guest she had there was a dude. Used to be a dude, born a dude, never had ovaries, never had a period, nothing like that. Had the male parts, had the twig and berries and all that. May still have it. I don't even know. But it was this Congressman Tim, quote, Sarah McBride. I'm sorry, a dead name. But here's her first guest on the women's panel. Is a dude.
Someone who's been...
Former dude, you're dead sexy or dead naming or something.
Involved in this work for a long time in trying to explain and truly bring people together around issues of gender, and that's Sarah McBride, U.S. Congresswoman from the state of Delaware. As a gender rights champion, and also the first openly transgender member of the United States Congress.
Cool, great. Why would you introduce that person before a woman?
You've been on the front lines of this fight, and you've also been on the receiving end of so many threats and attacks that come from, again,
no, not at all.
In many ways, organized efforts.
Not at all. No, not at all. Not one little bit. You're absolutely wrong about that. We just don't like to get preached out with regard to transgenderism and transgenderizing children. So there you go. Honestly, nobody's attacked her because of his decision, whatever the hell. And you always use that as some sort of a victimology thing so you can shut people up, and that ain't going to work. By the way, another thing that happened, it was really funny. This weekend, Hillary Clinton was in a session, and she got called out for her Trump derangement syndrome by a pro-Trump Czech minister in Munich. Foreign Minister Petr Marcinka is the guy's name. And you could tell that she's lost a lot of her power because people are actually speaking out, and challenging her in person. So I guess she's not able to have people murdered anymore. But did I say that out loud? Yeah, I did. Here she is getting called out in a most delicious fashion.
Well, first, I think you really don't like him.
That is absolutely true. But I really, not only do I not like...
Is it because he kicked your your rear end in 2016?
Like him. I don't
like... Very substantial rear end.
Him because of what he's doing to the United States.
He's making it powerful. It's awesome kicking butt.
And the world. And I think you should take a hard look at it if you think that...
The world's a much more peaceful place.
There is something good that will come out of it.
What I think Trump is doing in America, I think it is reaction for something for some policies that really went too
opening borders and bringing in all sorts of Islamists to take over countries.
Too far from the regular people, too far from reality.
I just did.
So we saw the cancel culture.
Yeah,
we saw the woke revolution.
Yeah,
I don't agree with the gender revolution, the climate alarmism.
Which gender? Women having their rights?
Women having no rights? Where the hell did that come from?
No, let Peter go on.
I think there are two genders. So but some of
us. Can we have our rights?
How about shut up?
Of us think that there is more than...
What, do you want to get murdered?
More than two gender. I think there is male and female, and the rest probably is a social construct. So this is something
He's right.
that went too far.
But does that justify selling out the people of Ukraine who are on the front line?
What are you getting from Ukraine, girlfriend?
And dying to save their freedom.
He's trying to friggin' bring peace to Ukraine. Joe Biden invited Russia to go in.
And they're two genders, if that's what you're worried about?
Can I please finish?
I don't know. You're the woman who introduced a dude to a women's session.
My points. I'm sorry that it makes you nervous. I'm really sorry for that.
It makes me nervous. It makes me
but seriously, can we let Peter finish, please?
I have to.
She doesn't like to get challenged very often when she doesn't have the power to, whatever she did. By the way, Brian, Deplorabella, let's keep her for the next segment, okay? Because I got into this here. Deplorabella is going to chime in here real quick. She's got some thoughts on Marco Rubio, and I want to hear what she has to say. All right? I want to hear what she has to say. But I'm not going to have time to do that right now. So there you go. I think one more thing that I'll say about this. No, I'm not. You know what? I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on from the Munich summit and talk about election integrity, because the Democrat Party doesn't want elections to be free and fair. Now, notice they went to Munich, and they went over there to Munich, and they talked about how Donald Trump is requiring an ID to vote, and most of the countries there require an ID to vote. And so the only country in the world where politicians of the opposing party and governors and whatnot from the country come over to badmouth their country, the United States of America, is telling the world, oh my God, can you believe that Donald Trump wants to ensure that the people who vote are the people who vote, and only citizens can vote, when the entire world basically requires an ID to vote. And here is Kristi Noem with I mean, honestly, this is Bat Guano crazy stuff. She is way off the deep end on this. Here is why she says we need voter integrity. And again, this is just, I mean, so extreme.
And elections is another one of those critical infrastructure responsibilities that I have as well. And I would say that many people believe that it may be one of the most important things that we need to make sure we trust is reliable, and that when it gets to election day that we've been proactive to make sure that we have the right people voting, electing the right leaders to lead this country through the days that we have, knowing that people can trust it.
Wow, that wasn't actually extreme at all. That was commonsensical. It was commonsensical. And it's kind of funny because what the left is saying is nonsensical. And here is Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries trying to convince you that it is common sense not to require identification.
Why is it that ICE agents who are untrained are being unleashed on American communities with this type of lawlessness, violence, and brutality? Unacceptable, unconscionable, and it's un-American.
I believe they'll have no choice but to go along with us because it's so common sense and so much supported by the...
He was talking about ICE. That's another thing that is common sense, by the way. You should be able to let Border Patrol go after people who are here illegally. Here is the nonsensical stuff from Chuck Schumer, doubling down when he's confronted with how many Democrats want voter ID, doubling down on Jim Crow 2.0.
In our legislation, we say that ICE agents should not be anywhere near polling places. Again, I think most Americans agree. You talk to people at...
The only people got to worry about it are people who are here illegally trying to vote.
Polling places who operate the polling places, they don't want these ICE agents near them.
Doesn't matter what they want.
Them and intimidating them.
About 83% of the American people, including majority Democrats, support voter ID laws.
And listen to his response.
Yeah, the voter ID laws that, first, each state can have its own voter ID laws, and some do and some don't.
Yeah, Democrat states always cheat.
But secondly, what they are proposing in this so-called SAVE Act is like Jim Crow 2.0.
Oh, dear God.
They make it so hard to get any kind of voter ID
not at all.
that more than 20 million legitimate people, mainly poorer people and people of color, will not be able to vote under this law. We will not let it pass in the Senate. We are fighting it tooth and nail.
And remember, every time they do that, every time they think less of you, whether you be a woman or whether you be a person of color, it's an insult. It is an absolute insult. You need your ID to do everything from getting a fishing license to renting a car to buying a house, and I dare you to go into any one of those people asking you for an ID. Just tell them, I don't have an ID because it's racist and sexist. Good luck getting on that airplane, okay? Good luck getting on that airplane. Let's take a break. Coming back, we got Deplorabella on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
When you're a man who calls himself a girl, it can be a bonus. When you compete with women, you have to hide. Ooh, that pair of cojones. I can cycle against the girls, that's my choice. I can steal their medals with this manly voice, 'cause the left makes me feel, the left makes me feel, the left makes me feel like a transgender woman. When I compete with females, I'm the one that's feared, 'cause I'm the only person in the race with a beard. But somehow I feel the left makes me feel, they make me feel like a transgender woman. Drugs transported by boat, Venezuela. You best take note. Cartels, they're having fits, 'cause they're men. They were blown to bits. The drug boat, it now resides on the ocean floor. The drug boat, Marco says we're gonna take out more. Yes, their lives are in danger if they take another chance. 'Cause drugs, we won't tolerate. Shut it down before it's too late. No drugs. A boat that was filled with drugs.
WCBM.
Got a little rejoint.
Dig it.
One thing I would like to see updated is the word homeless to the word unhoused.
How about new?
It's shocking and it's disappointing that we are on the edge of a major crisis with Iran. President Trump is masterfully managing the buildup of forces around Iran. He's laid out the red lines. You got to give us what remains of your nuclear program that was obliterated.
He is.
We have to have your missiles. You have to stop supporting terrorists, and you have to stop killing your people. He's laid it out. He's given them about a month or so, or there will be extreme trauma. So we have hundreds of thousands of American men and women in the Navy and the Army in harm's way. And we get AOC, Gretchen Whitmer, and Gavin Newsom slamming America, as you say.
Yeah, they made fools of themselves on the world stage, going into a foreign country and bad-mouthing our country and the President of the United States. Honestly, to heck with them. Hey, kids, it's Deplorabella. Deplorabella, I haven't heard from you in a while. Welcome to the Rob Carson Show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm calling about the Marxist mullahs who are motivated by a suicidal pathology.
Yes.
That spawned the conjoined twins of multiculturalism and moral relativism. So while Rubio was doing a fine job trying to make not only America, but the transatlantic alliance and Western civilization great again,
yes,
the people in that audience were working to undermine it. And I want to speak specifically about Tommy Robinson. He's the blue-collar Charlie Kirk. He's the working-class Douglas Murray. He's the man in Britain who organized protests against the Pakistani grooming gangs, who over decades, and with the complicity and acquiescence of every political party that's held control in Great Britain, they have been able to addict, groom, prostitute, sometimes even murder up to 1 million British white working girls. This is intolerable. And what has the government done? Have they prosecuted or done anything about these people? No, they've permitted more Islamists to enter the country, and they have persecuted Tommy Robinson. He has been imprisoned. He has been threatened. He has been assaulted. He has had his businesses interfered with and his family intimidated. And here's the latest. A policeman from a local police force in Britain phoned Tommy Robinson 2 days ago to tell him that he was on the list for imminent assassination by an Islamist group. And they gave him the name of the magazine that printed this threat, this kind of fatwa, and they told him that their counterintelligence and counterterrorism people had authenticated this plot. They refused to let Tommy dig up that manifesto on the internet. They said if he did so, if he brought up that magazine, which Islamists were free to publish, he would be considered guilty of a terrorist act. Then he asked what he could do to protect himself. Could he have a gun or any weapon? They said no, no guns, no preemptive actions. You can do nothing, including in your own home, because to do so would be an act of terrorism.
Of course.
And their advice to him was, sit tight and hope for the best, mate. These are the words of a government and its police force that would like to see Tommy Robinson dead. Because Tommy Robinson called attention to the fact that Keir Starmer and his little buddy Sadiq Khan, the of London, have protected the Pakistani grooming gangs. They've done nothing to prosecute them. So here is a man told you have no right to self-defense. You have no right to look up a manifesto that has singled you out for death, and we will do nothing to protect you or to deal with them. This is outrageous, and this should be a cautionary tale for Americans. For those people who are worried about endless wars, let me remind you, Islam has waged a 1,400-year war against the West and the world and all the infidels. Their plan is a global caliphate, and the communists have waged a 300-year war, sometimes violent from the French Revolution up through Mao, sometimes infiltration, like the Gramsci model or the Chinese model.
Now, Deplorabella, you'll notice it did that in a very eloquent fashion. Marco Rubio pushed back on all of that, particularly with regard to Christianity, and he got a standing ovation. I thought it was a masterful oratory. What did you think?
I agree, and I would like to see him as a president. I think he has the oratory. I think he has the knowledge base. I think he has the dedication to the Judeo-Christian ethic. I think he has an understanding that Western civilization is not something to apologize for.
100%.
It is exceptional.
Did you like what he said? Did you like, and it was actually beautiful. He talked about like the Germans who came here and moved to the Midwest and farmed the fields. My ancestors, by the way, after the turn of the century, the Irish, all of these groups that came over from Europe and lived with the ability to worship who they want to worship, the ability to express yourself and defend yourself with a gun, and all of these rights, and they were able to do that and make America. And I just thought it was a brilliant speech, and I thought the Democrats ended up looking like complete morons, to be quite honest.
Well, it's not only are they morons, not only are they stupid and insipid, but they are revolutionaries. And they are absolutely committed, and this can be traced to their funding, their rhetoric, and their behavior. They are absolutely committed to undermining this country, installing their own little elites in the name of the proletariat, and consolidating control. That is why they are so opposed to the SAVE Act. That is why they are so opposed to free and fair elections, or the deportation of one illegal, because those people are their constituents. That's what this is about.
Yes, and here's the thing. You know, I like to say, well, overwhelm them with joy and patriotism. Let Donald Trump handle the butt kicking. But there's going to have to be a butt kicking because they are unrelenting. They are unrelenting. They're trying to come back. Places like Canada with the restricting conservative speech online. The same goes with Great Britain. All of this. They never stop. They never stop. So they have to be beaten into the ground. They have to be taken out of our misery. And the Democrat Party has to have a new order and a new guard. Otherwise, it has to disappear into the dustbin of history. Deplorabella, we got to run. I know you're on Substack at Deplorabella, right?
That's correct.
All right, my dear. Great to hear from you. God bless you. You're a warrior. You kick butt. We'll talk again soon, okay?
You bet.
All right. She's awesome. She is awesome. And you know what? She could actually own the show. If I let her own the show, she would own the show. Because she is just remarkable, absolutely remarkable. Scott Pressler was out talking about the SAVE Act. He's been in Pennsylvania. Listen to what he had to say when somebody said a person of color approached him about Jim Crow 2.0 and voter ID.
I even reached out to Congressman Chip Roy, and I reached out to Senator Mike Lee saying, how are we going to make sure that our beautiful Amish are going to be able to vote? And I've heard that there's even going to be a religious exemption. And, you know, I was at the Great American Outdoor Show today in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I had an older black man come up to me and he goes, Scott, are you the architect of the Save America Act? I said, no, sir, but I'm a supporter of it.
Yes.
And he goes, you give a message to Chuck Schumer. I said, yes, sir. He goes, it's offensive to my community that Democrat senators, especially white Democrat senators, are saying that we are incapable of getting ID. And so this is an issue that 84% of Americans support. We're going through with the passing the Save America Act.
And by the way, Democrats have been doing this to people of color for 150 years. It's the same modus operandi about control. That's what it's all about. Coming up, great investigative reporter Liz Collin with regard to massive corruption in the state of Minnesota. On the other side of the break, don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain. Over time, it just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. You know, hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
The Democrats shut down and them all even down will be a gift to me. I see it as a firing opportunity. Let the layoffs begin. America will win. Just you wait and see. The Democrats just gave me an opportunity. Now I have a chance, along with J.D. Vance, to make us more waste-free. A federal budget cutting opportunity. The budget I'll reduce when thousands are cut loose. Less bureaucracy. I will make this another opportunity. This is a big time opportunity.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Shopify. You know, for years I have had a swag line of t-shirts with catchy phrases and whatnot, and it's just been lying there. Well, I've decided to go with Shopify and actually make money with my own business. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates you can customize to match your brand instead of just having a lousy website that nobody notices like I have been doing for years. Set up fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines, create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Newsmax. Go to shopify.com/Newsmax. Make building a successful business your 2026 New Year's resolution.
Street protesters, we've had our fill, but Randy Fine has a bill, says move them on over, run them all over, run over protesters blocking all our roads. The Thump Thump bill is what it's called. I'm sure the left will be appalled, but move them on over. Run them all over. Step on the gas if they won't step aside. Sure, it might leave a dent, but make them a hood ornament. Run them all over. Thump them all over. If they block our streets, they'll get what they deserve.
The federal government needs to pay for what they broke here. There are going to be accountability on the things that happen, but one of the things is the incredible and immense costs that were borne by the people of this state. The federal government needs to be responsible. You don't get to break things and then just leave without doing something about it. So we're going to be asking the federal delegation to be investing and doing the things necessary.
Yeah, we'll get right on the stroke of the check there, Timmy. As soon as you pay us back the $18 billion part of your population stole from us. Oh, my goodness, it's hilarious. Liz Collin is an Alpha News journalist like me, reaching her zenith in her career right now as an investigative journalist. She joins us on the Newsmax hotline. Hello, Liz. How are you?
Hey, doing well, Rob. How are you today?
I'm good. Did you do a spit take when Tim Walz said that he wanted to be paid for the damage that the radicals in Minnesota have done to their city?
Yeah, it's really quite something. I mean, nothing really should surprise us in Minnesota anymore. But yeah, this is the guy fully supporting the walkouts. There have been many of them. They continue, and then we're supposed to, turn around and then say, hey, I think it's $10 million one-time emergency relief package that he's now proposing.
Sure.
These forgivable loans to small businesses that have been affected.
Well, if you want to actually, you want that money, just shut down a couple of the daycare centers that don't have any children.
That would solve it, right?
There's your $10 million. I haven't talked to you really since Donald Trump did the drawdown. There are still ICE apprehensions happening on arrests and whatnot, and I think he kind of effectively, not completely, diffused the Democrat rage machine in the Twin Cities. How have things changed since he sent Homan up there?
Yeah, Homan was definitely busy behind the scenes meeting. I think he met with every single sheriff in Minnesota, so there's 87 counties here, so he's busy with that. And I think he's more of a behind the scenes kind of guy. I mean, he certainly held a couple press conferences and whatnot, but didn't seem to, need to keep people up to speed on every one of the moves that he was making. But we're going to see, I think, some of this this week. We had 3,000 agents that came to Minnesota, and they've started to leave. First it was 700. It sounds like they're kind of leaving in certain waves. But he did say this weekend, he was interviewed on several shows, and did make it clear that many of them would stay here. And remember that there is a busy ICE office that has been here for years. So these guys are staying here. They're local people, and they will continue their work as well. And he did talk about that unprecedented cooperation now that they have in Minnesota, that the jails will let them know if these folks need to be picked up there, so this chaos isn't spilling out onto the streets like we've seen, now for months.
Let me ask you this. Why do you suppose Tim Walz and Jacob Frey capitulated on this? Was it starting to impact them, do you suppose, in a very negative fashion? I know a lot of business owners are sick and damn tired of what's going on in the state of Minnesota and the city of Minneapolis.
Yeah, I think that they kind of had no other choice. I mean, it's been going on for, and also I guess you can really just say that this didn't really have to happen at all. The way that this all went down, but they were able to arrest, I think it's more than 4,000 people. I mean, these are not, they want to frame them as, your neighbors that are being picked up, murderers and rapists and, the worst of the worst. They definitely got a lot of those in Minnesota. Not only the 4,000, but they talked about on Friday, Homeland announcing that 3,300 missing children were found in Minnesota. So they've definitely done a lot of work here, and as Homeland pointed out, these are kids that the last administration didn't even care about at all, didn't even know who they were. So I think that's pretty concerning as a Minnesota citizen too.
Yeah, I saw Abby Phillips calling out Scott Jennings on that and basically saying, "Oh, I don't know if 3,300 children were rescued." I'm like, I mean, do you have to be so anti-Trump that you can't celebrate children who were trafficked into the country? And we know there were hundreds of thousands. There is copious evidence that they were given to people unvetted. Can you not at least celebrate the freedom of children from potential bondage and abuse, for God's sake?
Yeah, we've been reporting on this for years. I mean, we were there at the border ourselves. We were the only Minnesota crew to even go down there. I saw for myself kids coming over that were alone. Not only that, but we had people basically walking the street, Lake Street in Minneapolis, looking for work, and then we would track them. And some of them had families here to different shelters that were set up in Hennepin County, different hotels that were given money to house some of these people. That went on. And then we were reporting just a couple years ago about how the Minneapolis school district, half of the kids that they accepted were what they called new to country, 2,500 students that did not speak English. That was in the news, in the news because of us, but nobody else reported on it. But that's 2,500 non-English speakers that were enrolled just in the Minneapolis school district alone.
Well, my kids were in Germantown, Maryland, and we moved to Kansas about 10, 11 years ago. And we were told that Maryland schools were fantastic. And we get out there, and my daughter's in 5th grade. She was reading and doing math at 3rd grade. And then I asked them, I said, why do you suppose in a state where the schools are so great that my daughter is so far behind? And they said because she goes to an impacted school district, meaning that English is a second language to most of the students, and certainly the parents don't even speak it. And it really kills learning for other kids.
Oh, absolutely. And the Minneapolis school district, when they gave us this information, they were sort of bragging about, this population. They were welcoming them in, and they've had just a steep decline in enrollment these last few years, and I think that is a huge factor, that they're teaching a completely different way now when you have all of these kids of all ages that have started at different levels that do not speak English.
Talking to Liz Collin, Alpha News, by the way, doing great work. I've been seeing stories now. I think I saw a KCTV5 report about construction companies are suffering because illegals are being rounded up or afraid to come to work, which says to me, maybe you should hire legal people to work for you. Also, a lot of businesses in restaurants and whatnot in Minneapolis being impacted by this. Do you suppose we're in the midst of a correction where business owners up there are going to have to realize they have to hire legally?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, these are the consequences of sanctuary policies, and they've really been put on full display. Sanctuary states, sanctuary cities like Minneapolis and St. Paul, they've tried to, go to war with the federal government.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really gone so well.
No.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, I think, just over these next few months what this is all going to look like. I will say that we have many organizations backing today, more walkouts. They have another protest planned, and these are organizations that align themselves with communism. That's basically in in all of their titles. I think it's 24 groups that are behind a big march today. The Communist Party and the Minneapolis Teachers Federation, they're big into that. But we have a big activist group here in Minnesota, and as the weather warms, I think we'll be hearing even more from them.
Dear God. Can you hold on through the next break, Liz?
Yes, absolutely.
Good. I've got a lot of things I want to get to, including are they actually sending, particularly Somalis, from the United States? What has happened to all the money being shipped to Somalia, and a few other things on the other side of the break. Let's take a break and come back. More with the Liz Collin, Alpha News on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
Those who are not a national security threat or public safety risk, you are not exempt from immigration enforcement action. If you're in the country legally, you are not off the table.
There you go. That is Tom Homan speaking in Minneapolis, actually saying that they're not going to stop deporting people who are here illegally. And, whether or not this it remains a little bit calmer in Minneapolis is yet to be seen. As Liz Collin mentioned, the weather is getting a little bit warmer up there. And once it gets past like above 19 degrees, people start wearing flip-flops and cargo shorts, for God's sake. I know, I live there. Liz Collin of Alpha News joins us on the Newsmax hotline. Liz, so you're saying that now a lot of protests are happening. I think, did Trump kind of rattle them a little bit by bringing in Homan, and maybe they're kind of a little directionless? Because they were very focused. They were doing these, barricades in neighborhoods. They had this massive, cabal of people going all the way up to the lieutenant governor, warning people, who's here, following license plates. Has any of that, was it broken apart and is kind of regrouping? What do you suppose?
Yeah, I think that the police departments now actually started cooperating. That's something that we saw. I mean, for the longest time, Minneapolis police would be out on scene, but they would not, let's say, arrest anybody that, for blowing their horns at night at a hotel in Minneapolis. Instead, the State Patrol would come in to do that. It made absolutely no sense. Yep. So there was definitely a change under Homan that police departments are just arresting people that are doing this, and sometimes it's dozens of arrests in the evening hours when these things are taking place. So I think that's made a big difference as well. We've seen several mass arrests, whether it's 40 at a time, 50 at a time, and voila, they don't seem to come back. The numbers seem to have dwindled. So I think there's been some help with just some local law enforcement cooperation. I
had heard that there were flights leaving the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport with illegals, and obviously we've been focusing on the Somali community. I've been hearing that, and also, they were shipping out, sometimes $1 million a day from Minneapolis-St. Paul airport, bringing money in from Columbus via the airport and then out to Somalia or wherever. I would assume that has stopped.
Yeah, I was doing some interviews recently, some TSA agents that came forward, and they were talking about $1 to $2 to $3 million a week they would see leave the airport, and this was years ago. But we had Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent actually was here announcing that this is ending, this is over, and we have seen a couple seizures of just large amounts of cash, not like along those lines, but tens of thousands of dollars. Seized at the Minneapolis airport since that was announced. And also money transfers. The Treasury Secretary talked about that as well, how that number was greatly reduced and not that much money would be allowed to be transferred back to Somalia anymore.
What about all the fraud? Donald Trump said that the investigation is going to continue into what's going on. But Keith Ellison was grilled on Capitol Hill last week. What have you heard about that? Because it doesn't sound like they're abandoning criminal investigation using not only, the IRS, but the FBI as well.
Yeah, Homan actually even talked about that, too, that these fraud investigations are not going anywhere, and we've heard that from Pam Bondi also. So I think more to come on that. These investigations, they may seem pretty clear-cut when you go into an empty business, but they do have to seize bank accounts, and I know that these investigations can take months, if not longer. I know many of us are getting kind of impatient, but I know. I do know that these programs in these places are being looked at. You can tell that there's some sort of effort, by Walz and company to keep a lid on this. With they've had 150 state employees they've recruited to go out and do their own investigations into these places. However, these places are getting a heads up for when these investigators come to the business. So what do you think is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if the feds are able to get past.
Are some of these fraudulent daycares and transportation companies and whatnot, have they been cut off? Are they shutting down?
Well, they've had they did shut down basically 14 programs that were getting a lot of this funding, Medicaid funding. So that certainly has made a difference. But some of these programs, they said they're just basically all fraud, and they've shut down just a couple altogether that they they've announced, but there's 14 kind of programs they've really been focused on, and that is what they came up with, that $9 billion in fraud. But it definitely goes much larger than that, I think.
Clearly, the DFL and the city of Minneapolis and St. Paul have controlled the political fortunes of the people of Minnesota. And Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken, has voted for Donald Trump 3 times. Do you suppose the people of Minnesota are sick and damn tired of these people being in charge?
Well, they actually have not. The people outside of the cities have voted for Donald Trump.
I know.
But yes, there's definitely people that are very sick and tired of that. I will just say, though, I kind of chuckle with the voting because we think that there's billions of dollars in fraud in Minnesota, but our voting is all on the up and up.
Oh, please. I knew years ago. You knew this years ago. They're harvesting votes in Little Somalia. Dear God in heaven. Duh. I mean, this came out years ago. Everybody knows this. It is dreadful. It is really dreadful. I enjoyed my time in the Twin Cities sans the winter. And I hope it comes around eventually, but it sounds like you got a long way to go before you get it all gutted and cleaned out.
I will say my son is outside in his T-shirt as the snow is melting today, Rob. So
what is the temperature today? What's the high going to be?
It's I think we're approaching 53 today, which is 53. Downright tropical for February.
Now, has the ice dropped yet on in Lake Calhoun and Lake of the Isles, or is it still there?
It's not. We don't have ice out quite yet.
Got you.
But it is it's kind of a sloppy mess. It's been a few days actually of 50s. So
well, Minneapolis
also upset about that.
Minneapolis is a sloppy mess, to be quite. Liz Collin, thank you for joining me. Where can people find all your glorious work?
Liz Collin on X and alphanews.org. We're also Alpha News on X as well. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel too, Alpha News MN. That's where you can find my interviews. I talk to all kinds of newsmakers you don't see on the local news in Minnesota.
You're awesome. You're awesome. All right, Liz, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Is she good or what? Man, you guys are talking up a storm on social today. Tom Gay Valentina. The conversations I'm trying to get caught up on here. Deborah, 1955. Chuck Schumer is a dried up old fart throwing a little kid's temper tantrum. I know. He's a jackass too. He's a gargoyle with osteoporosis. He is. Hi, Vicki Stevens. Hi, Greg Carlson. What's going on? Same thing going on here in Australia. Wait a minute. Greg, you're in Australia? Well, hello. From the land down under. I went to what was it? That's the Australian steakhouse, Brian. Outback Steakhouse. Boy, no. Should be called Outhouse Steakhouse. Not good. I had a bloomin' onion. It tasted like old grease. It was really not good. Not good at all. It used to be okay. Now it's terrible. Hello, Gary McGovern. You say Liz Collins is awesome. Isn't she good? Love her. She's remarkable. And I do mean that. Absolutely remarkable. Wonderful person. All right. I've got to figure out what I'm going to talk about here. Pardon me. Ooh, crazy cat ladies. How about that? We'll do that next. We'll talk about crazy cat ladies. Yes. I want to talk about crazy cat ladies next. I've got a crazy cat lady today who is, whoa! So, anyway, that's coming up. What was this? America's Last Democrats. Ho, 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 la, hapa, naka, makadai. You're new. Good to have you there. Johanna Roetz. Hello, welcome from South Africa. Shut up. Good to see you.
Yeah, about 3:15.
It's the Rob Carson Show. So liberal women are going friggin' nuts, and this is not a surprise. Liberal women particularly have been subject to social contagion for a very long time, from the Salem witch trials through the Charlie Manson and family and all of that, and now just going bat guano crazy. And the great thing is they're saying, like, nurses who have TDS are saying, I'm not going to treat Trump supporters, I'm going to murder them, and that's nuts. That's insane. But another thing that's really insane is they're driven so insane with TDS that they want to leave the country, even though nothing in the country is impacting them at all. There's no discrimination. There's no increase in whatever, only opportunity.
Americans say they want to leave the country permanently. This is according to a new Gallup poll. 20% of people say they want to live somewhere else. That's 1 in 5. And the shift is mainly driven by young women, ages 15 to 44. 40% of them say that they want to go. And Martha and I...
Yeah, there you go. And they also were the ones who believed that children could change their genders because they're nuts. And they think Luigi Mangione is dreamy. I know, because they're nuts. Or you better sit down for this one. Now, I understand the upset about Epstein and all that. Pam Bondi released all the files. We're going to get to that next hour. But this woman is... Not only that she's acting this way, but she's putting it on social media shows. Did I mention she's nuts?
How are these people still running this country? Our leaders are pedophiles. They enjoy raping children. What are we doing?
Scary.
Well, they have a lot of cats, and they're all Democrats. We call them Karens.
They're too crazy for cats.
They have a whiny voice. They are all pro-choice and mostly barren. They're cat ladies. Whoa, they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who have clearly lost them.
There you go. That is Jim Gossett, by the way. I had to cut that off, I guess, on what happened. Anyway, Jim Gossett Comedy. Just go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. This is a social contagion and a mania that we will hopefully look back on like we did the Salem witch trials ago. What the hell? What the hell were we thinking? But not anytime soon, because there are so many of them, and they end up being governors of states like New Jersey and Virginia. We'll get to that next hour. 70% increase in unemployment claims in Virginia since Abigail Spamberger became the governor. Nice job. This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 3 right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. Hello and welcome to Monday, already the 16th of February. That's how I say it, February. Anyway, 2026, 250th birthday of our glorious republic. And we got a lot of stuff to get to this hour. The Epstein files, Pam Bondi released all of them, everything. Released it all. Released the hounds. All Epstein-related materials. And the list of names, 300 names. And some of them honestly are irrelevant, like Elvis Presley's name is in there. And he's been dead for, 50 years almost. So there's that. He died in 1977, so 49 years ago. I'm not thinking that Elvis took the Lisa Marie and flew to Epstein Island. That was the name of his jet, by the way, and his daughter too. So he didn't take his daughter to Epstein Island, and he didn't take his plane to Epstein. So, got that coming up. Got that coming up in a second. I do want to mention something real quick. We talk about the price of tuition going up a couple 100% in the last 35 years. But one cost and one item that has gone up way past the rate of inflation. I mean, extremely. Girl Scout cookies. I'm out at everywhere I went. I ended up buying Girl Scout cookies at Best Buy. So I'm in Best Buy. There's a table of Girl Scouts there, and they got their cookies and everything, and it's $3 for $18, $6 a piece. Now, back when I lived in Washington, D.C., 12 years ago, they were like $2.50, $3. Now they're $6 for a little thing of Girl Scout cookies. And, of course, I bought three. And then I go over to mail my purchase at Best Buy, and they sold me a protection package on the Girl Scout cookies. A 3-year protection package on the Girl Scout cookies. I'm not even sure why. I don't know what they're protecting me from, but that's what they do. You buy an extension cord at Best Buy. You want the extended service warranty? I bought an extension cord. I know, but it's only $19.95. I know, the extension cord was $5. So anyway, Girl Scout cookies are $6. $6. I gave them a 20. I said, keep the change. You filthy animals. And then I brought the cookies here to work because I ain't going to eat those cookies. I'm not going to eat those cookies. I want to. You know why they call them Samoas? Because when you eat one, you want Samoa. That's just the way it is. Anyway, let's talk about the Epstein files. Pam Bondi has released all Epstein files names Trump, Biden, Zuckerberg, Tucker Carlson among politically exposed persons, according to this. And then there's, of course, this from ABC News.
This morning, a new document coming to light claims in the mid-2000s, President Trump called police about Jeffrey Epstein. Among the 3 million Epstein files released by the Department of Justice last month is a 4-page FBI report on an interview the Bureau conducted in 2019 with a man believed to be former Palm Beach Police Chief Michael Ryder. Ryder and his detectives began investigating Epstein for human trafficking in 2004. According to the document...
Wow, if they would have listened to Donald Trump, a whole lot of suffering and pain might have stopped.
Trump called Ryder around that time and said, "Thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this." Ryder also says Trump said he threw Epstein out of his club, and he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present, and Trump got the hell out of there. The former police chief says Trump told him to focus on Epstein's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, saying she is evil.
Yeah. That was 20 years ago is when Donald Trump did that. Mm-hmm. So much for that. Here's Tim Burchett. He's seen a lot of the files. Some other people have seen them. Nancy Mace has seen the files. Lauren Boebert's seen the files. And from what I can gather, some of the things in there are unspeakable.
People have a sick fascination with this stuff. And you got kids. I got a daughter. I've been through this many times with the legislation I've had in Tennessee and dealt with, the officers that are involved with it and the awful things they say. This stuff that is in these files makes all that pale in comparison. And if you're offered an opportunity to view the pictures or read the files, I would seriously consider not doing that. Yeah. Because it will it will haunt you. Wow. This stuff that's in there. This stuff just goes so deep, Benny, and it is very disgusting to me. You know, it's evil, it's satanic, and it's from the pits of hell, and that's where these people will end up.
A lot of emails in there. J.B. Pritzker. His brother, who's transgendered, apparently emailed Jeffrey Epstein from Afghanistan, said he went there. It was a birthday present, and he said there are a lot of boys with toys over here. Yeah, I know. Unbelievable. This is Jamie Raskin last year on MSNBC. You see, last week, the big thing was Pam Bondi on Capitol Hill, and why haven't you, prosecuted the people in these Epstein files? Why have you not released all the information? And here is Jamie Raskin being called out by Joe Scarborough about sitting on the Epstein files for 4 years while President Pudding for Brains was in office.
State Congressman, you could have gotten that from 21 to 25 when Democrats controlled the DOJ. Why?
What's up?
It was a crisis then. It's a crisis now.
Yeah.
Why didn't Democrats call for it from 21 to 25?
So, I mean, you'd have to go back and look specifically at particular prosecutorial decisions.
That was just gobbledygook. You said nothing there. You skated around it.
And what was taking place in terms of the other cases.
You were in power.
So, I don't know. We could try to reconstruct that record. But
let's do that. Let's find out why you didn't do anything about it.
Point is that...
You know why? Because you couldn't get Donald Trump on it. Because Donald Trump's been exonerated.
Donald Trump is the one who has led the crusade to say that Epstein, who was his very close friend...
No, not at all. You're absolutely wrong. That was last year, and he's lying about it back then. That's kind of interesting, ain't it? Yeah. Thomas Massey, who is, I don't know, man. He's gone. He's if you look at his face, he's changed. His look, his face, everything has changed in the last 2 years. He's a completely different person. Something broke. But here he is talking about last week. And by the way, this is Pam Bondi released everything. And here he is calling out Pam Bondi during the idiotic hearings where Democrats just tried to shout her down for nothing.
I talked to you about one of the moments in the hearing, and that is the Attorney General would not look at the Epstein survivors behind her. Did that surprise you?
I think that was kind of cold on her part. I think she was afraid to. And look, these survivors would love to have a meeting. It's not about Bill Clinton, and it's not about Donald Trump. This Epstein Files Transparency Act was about getting these survivors justice. We've got some degree of transparency, but it's called the Department of Justice, not the Department of Transparency. And so what these survivors need, they need to see some of their own 302 forms, which haven't been released.
There you go. Yeah, I want to see people punished as well. But you're wrong about Donald Trump, and you're wrong about Pam Bondi. Here he is saying that Pam Bondi has no confidence in herself.
Do you still have confidence in Pam Bondi as Attorney General?
I don't think Pam Bondi has confidence in Pam Bondi.
That's just a cereal box answer.
She wasn't confident enough to engage in anything. But
She just released all the information. You nut. You nut bag. Dear God. I mean, honestly, he's cuckoo. Here is a little bit of the hearings last week, and the Democrats. It was just the next thing. They've already moved on. Now they're focusing on the shutdown. Now they're talking about asking for an ID when you vote to prove your citizenship, and you only have a right to vote if you're a citizen. You see, so you need to have some sort of documentation you're a citizen. Duh. Every other country in the world does this, including, I believe, Somalia. I don't even know they have elections, but I think they require ID if they ever did have one. But this is your Democrat Party last week, and then this week and next week they're going to be yelling about something else. State of the Union is coming up. They're going to do a bunch of stupid crap with the State of the Union.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that.
No way, Jose.
Attorney General.
That's racist.
Before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
Yeah, going to retire. Resign for what, you idiots? Why didn't Chris Wray look at this while you guys were in power?
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I can
ask a
respond.
question.
This is what Congressman Liu didn't want to talk about.
What?
California refuses to honor detainees because of its dangerous sanctuary city.
Yeah, the Democrat Party is morally and intellectually bankrupt. Now, the what is contained in the release of all of this data. The department released materials tied to the following categories: all investigations, prosecutions, custodial matters, flight logs, travel records, individuals named in connection with Epstein's criminal activity. Let's see, entities, corporate, nonprofit, academic, tied to Epstein trafficking or financial networks. Internal DOJ communications regarding destruction, deletion, or concealment of evidence. No records were withheld or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity, including to any government official, public figure, or foreign dignitary. Bondi's letter includes details of the redaction process. According to the report, redactions were limited to victims' personal and medical information, child sex abuse material, information that could jeopardize active investigations, graphic images, or of death or abuse. Those were all redacted. The department cautioned that names appear across a wide variety of contexts, including emails, press mentions, third-party reporting. Hence, there are names in here that don't make any sense, like Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley, his name is on this. He's been long dead. Dick Cheney, Fidel Castro, Noam Chomsky, George Clooney, Kurt Cobain, for God's sake, George Conway, David Copperfield. I know David Copperfield. I got on stage with him, and I took part in the trick when I was in Cincinnati years ago. It was pretty cool. Merrick Garland, Bill Gates, Melinda Gates, Rudy Giuliani, Dan Goldman, Eric Holder, Reid Hoffman, Pramila Jayapal, Hakeem Jeffries, oh no, John Kasich, John Kerry, Monica Lewinsky, hello, okay, Thomas Massey, Gavin Newsom, AOC, John Ratcliffe, Elvis Presley, Lisa Marie Presley. So the list of names really doesn't mean anything in context. And again, Donald Trump had been exonerated. And that's why they sat on it for 4 years, because there was nothing there to attack him with before the election. So they just went with using the DOJ to try to take him down with an impeachment, a raid on Mar-a-Lago, an attempt to take him off the ballot, an attempt to bankrupt him, and then try to kill him twice. So that's what they had to do. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Rob, show us how to live.
I will. My favorite song. Show me how to live. Come on. Audio slave. Tom Morello on the guitar. 1, 2, 3. Kick it. Oh. I love it. I love it. Chris Cornell. Gone way too soon. Gone way too soon. I've got an autographed album cover of his at home, hanging in the home office. So there you go. Anyway, I had a delightful conversation this weekend. I got out and about and had a few setbacks this weekend. Had some pretty major setbacks. The studio that I have built here will have to be vacated. I mentioned this on social media. I knew I was going to have to vacate this building because we're going to tear this building down at the end of the year. But it's moved forward a little bit, faster than I had assumed. So that was a little hard to take. And I'm still kind of reeling, but you know what? Here's the deal. The devil tries to separate you from God. So I wake up and I go, I'm going to fight every single day. But I went out and about this weekend. I went down to this little place out on the water and hung out, and I met a group of, and I'll just say, fabulous black women. Why do you have to say black? Because they're black. And they were like, we're here to celebrate Black History Month. So I ended up hanging out at a table with impeccably dressed, beautiful black women. And I bought them a bunch of drinks, and I was having my Diet Coke and everything. And we had a hell of a conversation. We talked, and there were these two. They could do stand-up comedy. Because one was playing, it was like the straight man and the sidekick. And and the sidekick would hit the straight man with a line, and the whole table would fall apart, and they were telling jokes. And it was fantastic. It was fantastic. I got a phone number, right? I'm not going to date. I don't want to date now. But she gave me a phone number, right? And so I got it, and I said, ladies, I have an announcement. And they're like, what? I said, for the first time in 32 years, a woman has given me her phone number. And they all just laughed, and oh my God, it was so fun. Then I went up to this cigar shop. There's a cigar shop, and I think it's called 219. And upstairs they have a lounge, and they have live music. And they have this R&B band, this soul band. Oh my God, it's so good, so good. And the first song that I heard was Tennessee Whiskey. And this woman, I swear to God in heaven. But it was like very urban, like 90. I was like 3 white guys there, and I was one of them. And I had some of the best damn conversations. I talked to a guy at the bar. I was hanging there with my Diet Coke and my Perdomo cigar. And we were talking about everything. And he's 36. His fiance's 35, whatever. And we're talking about, politics a little bit, leading into politics. And I said, did you ever notice, I don't know if you knew this, but, we were talking about crime in the inner city community, what the Democrat Party has done. And he agreed the Democrat Party has been terrible. And I said to him, did you ever notice where the Planned Parenthoods are? And he goes, no. I said, look in any American big city, and you will find them in black neighborhoods on streets named after civil rights leaders. And he's like, no way. Then I showed him Cincinnati. Then I showed him Kansas City. And he went, oh, my God. And I said, don't you believe in freedom? Are you proud of your country? He said, I love America. I'm proud of America. And it was a fascinating conversation. I love talking to people. And the music was so good. Oh my God, it was so good. It was just fun. It was nice. It was nice. I needed to get out. I needed to meet people. And spring is arriving. What a glorious spring it will be. What a glorious spring it will be. John Solomon, he was talking, Christy Nome was in Maricopa County for a Georgia-like event with election officials. A lot of bullcrap going on with Arizona elections.
I've been telling you all week, keep an eye on Arizona. Keep an eye on Arizona. I think there's a Georgia-like event in Arizona, like what happened in Fulton County. I think tomorrow is a likely day, so I just want to put that on your calendar. Keep an eye tomorrow. I see Homeland Security Secretary Christy Nome going down there. Now, why is that important? The Homeland Security Department oversees the election machines and election counting capabilities.
Yeah, in Maricopa County in 2022, 60% of the machines failed on Election Day.
ISA and the Homeland Security.
Maricopa County is largely Republican.
Department deal with that. the FBI Justice Department deal with criminal violations. So she's down there for a reason, and I think my reporting suggests that there will be some sort of important election integrity event tomorrow, Maricopa County in Arizona.
We will see. Here is John Solomon talking with State Senator Greg Dolezal about Fulton County.
John, I have called for the state to take over the Fulton County elections. We passed a law in 2021 that set the triggers in place for the state election board to take over the elections for a temporary period of time if a county proves they're incapable of following Georgia law. And if there's ever a county that's proven it, it's Fulton County. Today, Fulton County has hundreds of people still on their voter rolls that were born in the year 1900. They have thousands of people registered to vote at illegal voting locations.
What?
Parking lots, homeless shelters that have been closed for a decade.
I didn't do that in California, too.
UPS stores, storage units. It is time for the state to step in before the 2026 general election to ensure that we can have a free and fair election.
100%. And if you say there is no voter fraud, I'll just hit you in the forehead with the butt of my hand. Go bonk, just right there. Go, wake up, wake up. This is why the Democrat Party is so freaking out about voter ID, freaking out about shutting down, illegal immigration, freaking out about deporting illegals, because they need those bodies in those states to prop up their census numbers and load them up with free stuff, much of it fraudulent, so they will vote Democrat. Yeah, that's why they also don't want the voter rolls cleared up, and they don't want voter ID. Duh. You know why I know this? Because I'm not stupid. You're not stupid either. Democrats, you aren't that stupid either. You just think your voters are. That's it. Yeah. Let's take a break and come back. The one and only Brigadier General Blaine Holt joins us next. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Shopify. You know, for years I have had a swag line of T-shirts with catchy phrases and whatnot, and it's just been lying there. Well, I've decided to go with Shopify and actually make money with my own business. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates you can customize to match your brand instead of just having a lousy website that nobody notices like I have been doing for years. Set up fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines, create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Newsmax. Go to shopify.com/Newsmax. Make building a successful business your 2026 New Year's resolution.
Greenland's a country we should buy. You know I'm really gonna try. Buy in Greenland something we should do, or slap another tariff on the EU. Denmark, it's really time to sell. We promise to treat Greenland well. Greenland, it would be quite a prize. Mineral rich and really big in size. The ice, so nice. Much land, it's grand security. A great strategy. Greenland we should buy.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain over time. It just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
I fought in 2 world wars and countless smaller ones on 3 continents. I led thousands of men into battle with everything from horses and swords to artillery and tanks. I've seen the headwaters of the Nile and tribes of natives no white man had ever seen before. I've won and lost a dozen fortunes, killed many men, and loved only one woman with a passion a flea like you could never begin to understand. That's who I am.
That is Robert Duvall's Secondhand Lions, right before the bar fight scene where he whooped a bunch of punks. It's one of my favorite scenes. I've watched that scene so many times. It'll pop up, and I'll just watch it again and again and again. Robert Duvall was 95 years old. He passed away today. What a life. I mean, what a history of amazing film, including, of course, The Godfather, among other things. Joining us on the Newsmax hotline, not necessarily to talk about Robert Duvall, but a whole bunch of other stuff, is Blaine Holt. He is a Brigadier General, also the host of the Dangerous Intellectuals podcast. How you doing, my friend?
I am doing great, and glasses raised to a great American in Robert Duvall. My favorite character is not a military one. It's the Secondhand Lions character. As I approach my 60s, he's my hero.
Yeah, that scene, isn't that scene, that monologue, oh my God. So good.
So good.
So good. Wow. Yeah, and I remember like Days of Thunder and a bunch of those movies. Oh, yeah. He was always
for breakfast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Oh, yes. Fantastic. All right. Well, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Marco Rubio talking at Munich, and he got a standing ovation. And listen, I know what you're going to say about this, but we are the only nation in the world where governors of different states from our country and politicians from the opposing party go to badmouth our country. And I'm just sick and damned tired of it. Gavin Newsom, AOC, Gretchen Whitler. Yeah, anyway. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the bartender and the globalist ventured into the waters of diplomacy, violating a long-standing tenet that really in the past couple of decades everybody's just thrown into the sewer. But it used to be at the water's edge, which was don't take domestic American politics into some international forum off our soil. Well, the clown circus of Hillary, Newsom, and the bartender, they go into, sounds like a joke, right? They go into Munich the day before, and they look just like what they are. It's a reprehensible, we don't know anything, we can't say anything intelligent. Even AOC dropped what a 8th grade social studies student could have answered on the Taiwan question. And so contrast that with Rubio standing up like the statesman that he is, coming into his own as a historic figure, Secretary of State, and laying it on the line with Europe to explain, you are playing with fire. You have no idea what you're playing with here. But if you're going to roll up the civil rights of the European people, evaporate the culture with invaders, if you're going to spend all your money into a war that we've told you to stop, if you're going to deindustrialize yourself, then what you're essentially doing is breaking what we thought were inextricable links with the United States of America. And by the way, the UN, F-, it's a failure. We got to move on from it.
Listen, I'm going to play a little bit of this here because I thought this was actually brilliant. This was brilliant, tying in our connection to Europe. Here it is.
Our story began with an Italian explorer whose adventure into the great unknown to discover a new world brought Christianity to the Americas and became the legend that defined the imagination of our pioneer nation. Our first colonies were built by English settlers, to whom we owe not just the language we speak, but the whole of our political and legal system. Our frontiers were shaped by Scots-Irish that gave us Davy Crockett and Mark Twain and Teddy Roosevelt and Neil Armstrong. Our great Midwestern heartland was built by German farmers and craftsmen.
I thought that was a brilliant speech. He closed it by saying that the cowboys came from Spain. And AOC said, no, the cowboys came from Mexico. Spain brought horses to the Americas.
I'm just glad she didn't say the cowboys come from Dallas. Look, those are very, very limited people, and they can't. And again, all the Europeans should have saw that first day with the clown show and said, "Oh, maybe we're better off with President Trump just leading us and telling us what to do," because 2028 could be an unmitigated disaster for the world if these folks were to get into power. Listen, it's very serious times, and the president is recreating what this world order is going to look like via our national security strategy. And Rubio just basically said, you Europeans are about to embark on irrelevance as you vaporize your cultures, and then you'll be dealing with the folks who really gave the standing ovation, and that was the citizens of the European countries themselves.
Yeah.
If you saw the faces before they were forced to stand up, like Kaja Kallas, Ursula von der Leyen, and the others, these people look like they were looking for either a really stiff cocktail or a dagger.
Yeah, they got a little what for, didn't they? This is the thing that really ticked me off of all things, because this wasn't about just ICE. This was about military.
But I want to remember all those images of masked men, the secret police, something familiar in Germany. Those first images came out of my state, the second largest city in the United States of America. We saw 4,000 National Guard federalized. First time, we'd never seen anything like this. And 700 active duty Marines sent not overseas, but to the second largest city in the United States of America, militarizing the streets of my city. Masked men.
He's basically comparing our military to the SS in Germany. Did your head about frickin' explode on that?
Not really, because honestly, what he's doing, if you read his comments the right way, he is saying he is a completely failed governor, F-.
Yes.
Why? Because we had to send forces in to put a tourniquet on California because he's incompetent and he's malevolent by drawing these comparisons. And the reason that those men have to wear masks is because he and his ilk, Jerry Nadler going on, and Schumer and the rest, all want to dox. They want to energize their NGOs, their paid-for cretins, to dox and harass the families and these brave, proud people who are merely enforcing our laws and saving our people from rapes and disaster and crime.
I'm so thoroughly disgusted. Meanwhile, the UN is bankrupt, and the Board of Peace. I think it's kind of interesting. I was in New York for Newsmax Christmas party about a year and a half ago, and it was at the United Nations, and I said that I hope Donald Trump buys this, converts it into condos, because I want to look at Paraguay. They've got a nice little office there. But isn't it kind of interesting how things have changed? And do you suppose the Board of Peace will hold more sway than the United Nations?
You know, the original British Empire just basically reincarnated itself into that building so that they could go down the path of the world government that they had always envisioned, but they bankrupted themselves in the process. And here we are with Change 2. Globalists who seek to enslave. The UN has done nothing more than created death and body counts, pitted one group of people against another group of people, all on taxpayer dollars around the world, but mostly on our tab. And I think you should just gut the building, carve it out, give it to homeless people, and let them live there if they qualify under the terms and conditions that we set forth for them. Or just bulldoze it into the East River and let's start out with something new. But the UN's time, look, we're calling out that this is a dinosaur that hurts the world, doesn't help the world. If you don't believe me, just go read their own writing. Population replacement, sustainable development goals, 15-minute cities. Climate change is real. No, it's not. And
look who's on the Human Rights Council. They've got the Human Rights Council. I think isn't North Korea on there. It's just so stupid.
North Korea, Iran. Why not put MS-13 on there?
Oh my God,
their own entity.
It is just a joke. Listen, Blaine, we got to take a break because I want to talk to you about Iran and what's happening there, among other things. So let's take a break and come back. More with the great Blaine Holt. Dangerous Intellectuals is the podcast. It's really good. I mean, it's really good. It's coming up. This is the Rob Carson Show. More with Brigadier General Blaine Holt. One moment. International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There's never-ending list of reasons gold has gone up 700% in 20 years. never-ending list of reasons smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals with Birch Gold, and you know what? Gold is luring you in with its siren song right now. It's at $4,991. It's under $5,000. Now, if you would have said that a year ago, you would have said, "Oh my God, $5,000! Oh, that's too expensive." That was because a year and a half ago it was at $2,600. What? Yeah. And then it went up to $5,600 a couple weeks ago. Went up $500 in one day. And then people decided to sell their gold because they wanted to profit take a little bit, which meant more gold for you to buy, and the price came down. And you've got a break now. You got a break, man. I got in at the right time, right place. Oh my God, this is like the first time in my life. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. And you know how to do this. It's real easy. Just do it right now. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Go up there, hit that little thing there to do a text, and where the phone number is up there, 989898. No name's going to show up like your best friend or whatever. And then there on the bottom of the text, just say, Rob, boop, R-O-B. There you go. You're going to get some information. You're going to get an information kit. Then when you decide to get this thing done, you're going to get taken care of. So text Rob to 989898. Birch Gold is a company I trust. They have my money, guys. I don't know what else. I don't know what kind of endorsement I could offer you. They have my money. They have my future. So text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold.
It's shocking and it's disappointing that we are on the edge of a major crisis with Iran. President Trump is masterfully managing the buildup of forces around Iran. He's laid out the red lines. You got to give us what remains of your nuclear program that was obliterated. We have to have your missiles. You have to stop supporting terrorists, and you have to stop killing your people. He's laid it out. He's given them about a month or so, or there will be extreme trauma. So we have hundreds of thousands of American men and women in the Navy and the Army in harm's way. And we get AOC, Gretchen Whitmer, and Gavin Newsom slamming America.
There you go. That's what they did. But there's a lot of stuff going. My gut tells me, Blaine Holt, that the trigger's already been pulled. And Iran has shown through its last month that all they're interested in is lying and doing saying what I have to say to stop and prolong an attack from happening. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are we're threading a needle.
Yeah.
And I think it looks really good to me from President Trump's position because in many different directions and on many different layers, he's building up leverage for his own self, for his own negotiations. And what I mean by that is Second Carrier Strike Group, Jordan's opening up basing to our folks.
Yep.
You've got Army units here at home that are getting ready to deploy our orders that are warning orders. What does that all mean? It means that we're building up a preponderance of force to take matters into military hands. Well, we could have done that last night, Rob. So then what's it all about?
Well, he also met with Benjamin Netanyahu last week, Drew. He met with Benjamin last week.
I saw.
Yeah.
He walked out sad-faced. Why? Because the president prefers, wherever possible, a demilitarized foreign policy.
Yeah.
And to the neocons and to and I understand Benjamin Netanyahu's frustration. He's in that zip code. He's the one threatened with his. So I get that, but at the same time, the president is collaring a little bit of that resistance towards his methodology by building up forces and then getting these mullahs to the place where they're going to be looking at new countries to go live in. And after the massacre of all of these revolutionaries, I think that's where we're headed. But what he doesn't want to do, he doesn't want to do two things. He doesn't want to hijack the revolution away from those people.
Yep.
And he doesn't want to threaten the bigger prize, which is going to be the Abraham Accords, which will bring peace to the entire region.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned to you in a text that we've sent over 100. Are they the C-17s that we sent over there to
You've got to love America's jet. The C-17, 117 of them are flying sustainment cargo and forces back and forth. They're flowing in, they're flowing out, and there's nothing they can't do. And by the way, they can darken everything up, throw night vision goggles on, and do a mass attack airdrop if necessary.
Yeah.
I just think that a lot of this is going to be about protecting American lives, dropping the risk to our forces.
Yep.
And if there has to be a couple of bombs here and there to tilt the scales in the direction of the revolutionaries, I know that we're up for that. I just think that what the president wants to do is keep the Arab states on board and the region all tracking towards his bigger prize. And that should be a free Iran that selects its own leader, not one imposed on it.
Wouldn't be something. It would be something, wouldn't it? Now, also Cuba, They're down to their last week. They were down to their last week of gas. What do you suppose is going to happen there? Yeah.
Don't look for lights in the middle of the night in Cuba. They're in trouble right now.
Yeah, it'll be like North Korea.
We're putting the squeeze on them. This is a very big play as part of the new Monroe Doctrine, or Donroe Doctrine, if you will.
Yes.
But we're going to keep applying pressure until we get change in Cuba. Why now to liberate Cuba? Hey, Cuba has been sending spies into this nation, infiltrating with narco terror, infiltrating our elected systems, and all of that. So they are an enemy of the United States. Don't ever mistake that. And what he's doing now is he's putting that regime in a place where they're going to fall, and I think they'll fall soon.
I do too. I was just I interrupted you accidentally. I was looking. It showed up on the Citizens Free Press. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Who could forget Robert Duvall in that scene? Oh my God, so good.
Like victory.
So good. All right, my friend, I appreciate you. Of course, Dangerous Intellectuals is the name of your podcast. The Red Tsunami, The Silent Storm Killing Your Freedom by T. Casey Fleming. That's the latest, right? What's going on? Tell everybody where you can find it.
That's the book review. We just started that today on the Dangerous Intellectuals Substack. But today we also released your friend and mine, Hillary Fordich, is going to discuss with me the Munich Security Conference and the frailties of NATO and the Transatlantic Alliance. And
she is a handful, isn't she? She's awesome too.
She's great.
All right,
she
brother.
Just breaks it down. No punches pulled.
She does 100%. Thanks, brother. Talk to you soon. Okay.
All right. Take care.
All right. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hold on. I gotta cue this up. Hold on.
Marketing text messages consent are required.
Hold on.
You smell it? Napalm, son. Smell it?
All right, it's queuing up Robert Duvall.
After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
Apocalypse Now. Hi, guys. Booster, right?
Yes,
man, you guys are
Total
active
T2
today. I didn't know how many people are going to be watching today.
Skyrockets nitric oxide
we got a lot of new
names
names and everything.
Since I started taking
names
it,
watching today on this president.
Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
I'm going to read to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2. The next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo
all you
X,
guys
our
over on the
newest,
YouTube,
most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text RULE to 215-215. That's RULE to 215-215.
I got to mention that my big trip to Gettysburg is selling out, man.
Hi, Kim Klacik here. If you can dream it, AES
Coming
Builders
up
and Home
June the
Improvement
11th,
can design it. From kitchens and baths to
doing this
basements,
trip to
additions, and
Gettysburg
in-law
with
suites,
listeners,
AES
Gettysburg
makes the
Battle
process
Tour.
simple. All you do is come in
And
with an
the bus is
idea,
getting
and they create the
pretty full.
solution,
Might have to add
and even show you exactly how it will work
bus. I'm gonna share
before
that
it
information in a
begins.
second.
Sean and Steven, owners of AES, specialize in functional, beautiful spaces designed around your
let's see,
lifestyle
who's
and the way
watching
you live
on,
every day.
X?
Call
X?
AES Builders
You guys
at
are starting to chime in on X a little bit. It's good to see
474-400 and
you
visit
guys talking. Hooks Benny
AESHome.us.
If you're not
and
happy,
Richie
we're not done.
and
MHIC
Guff.
37105.
Good to have you. Nice to have you. Hi, Vicky Stevens.
What am I going to do with this house? I don't have the energy this year to listen to her critique my cleaning and how this place looks.
I'm so glad to have you guys joining me. Things are really starting to pop.
I know. I'll call Maypro. Their 49-point checklist to keep your grandmother quiet and get this place back in shape and up to her standards.
Nobody else does, which is leading edge opinion.
Call Maypro 410-529-5960 or Maypro.com. because grandma standards aren't standard.
Oh, Robert, you're talking about Robert Duvall. Here we go. Hold on.
About 310 here.
Okay. All righty. We got one more break here. Barack Obama did what Democrats do best. They project exactly what they do on the opposing party. Everything that he says, the thing that he says, he's such a good liar. And he knows that everything he's saying here is an absolute lie. And if I can get it to play, then I'll play it for you. Hold on one second. Here, let's get, this is Barack Obama. Hold on one second. Projecting about Republicans.
The other side does the mean, angry,
demagoguery,
exclusive, us, them, divisive politics.
That's an absolute lie, and that he can lie so so gracefully is kind of terrifying.
I haven't suggested that Donald Trump is Hitler. I wouldn't say
I don't
that.
think any Democrat has. I actually...
What?
It is deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews.
How can you possibly compare what happened in Germany in World War II to what's going on here in the United States?
Yeah. So, yeah, everything is easily disputable. The Democrat Party is the violent one. They're the ones with demagogue and all this. He also said on the same podcast that he believes the space aliens are real. He did. He was talking to this guy, and he says that he doesn't know where they are and all that, but he says that space aliens are real. Barack Obama and Jim Gossett came up with this, by the way. Area 51, he doesn't know if their bodies are there, but he believes they're real.
UFOs, I believe, are real. Aliens, too, that's the way I feel. No one knows where they came from. Kinda like me, 'cause the media's dumb. Believing one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater from another planet. People eater want to make each one of them a cheater. Sign them up to vote. Space aliens, they do exist. That's why our party should enlist them to vote with no ID, 'cause they're not from here, you know, just like me. They're undocumented future Democrats, don't show up in anybody's stats. Non-citizen future Democrats, let's send them to the polls.
Mr. Obama says UFOs were actually one of the first things he asked about after taking office.
They may look purple to me and you. Election day, they'll be voting blue. We'll get them to do what we want them to. With
that is Jim Gossett. Patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Barack Obama believes space aliens are real, and Bigfoot is real because he's married to her. Hey ho, hey ho. That's going to do it for the show today, guys. I greatly appreciate you joining me. God bless America's founder, Donald Trump, and of course, what he's doing to make America great in our 250th year until tomorrow, which is Tuesday, Fat Tuesday. Don't catch the stupid. I love you guys. See ya.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.